Great googly moogly.
Well, hello there, Tom. How are
Hey,
you?
Brett, I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm super fantastic.
Welcome to another episode of Therapy Unzipped, where we unzip and unload and get real. It's like a real world us, right?
All right, no
You stop
kidding.
being fake and start being real. But
Talk
ironically,
about,
those things were never real because it was all curated bullshit.
all right. Talk about reality shows. I love the summer lineup, right? So they throw in like America's Got Talent, which I haven't watched yet, but they have this new show called The Snake. I don't know if you've seen it.
No.
But I mean, it's just a reality show. You got what, 16 people living in a house trying to stab each other in the back and just trying to survive to win money, right?
Yeah.
And there's a priest on there and all kinds of stuff. So, of course, I get hooked into the whole thing because I'm analyzing personalities and doing whatever. But so
Mhm.
the snake, interesting. It's the same old kind of garbage, but it's good background noise.
Well, and you know what that leads into? Maybe this will be our topic for today because we don't have a question to answer. Um, it's okay. Out of the first word, because we're Gen Xers, that comes to mind is to be bad. But, I guess, how do you define what bad is? But maybe
Is it
indulgent.
Michael Jackson bad? Woo!
To be a little indulgent and
Mhm.
you don't always have to be perfect, like we were talking before we started about, so we're trying to tighten up the diet and do healthy things and do everything right, and there's days where you need to eat a smash burger.
hmm I know. I said I've been doing very well eating. Exercise has been great. I've been right on target for a while. I slipped for a while there, but I'm right back on target and everything is going great. And then yesterday I ate a half a Tombstone pizza and a double from Wendy's. And I'm like, but you know what? You just got to do it sometimes. And I don't feel bad about it. I don't feel guilty. I just like, hey, it happened. I enjoyed it. It was delicious. And now I'm right back to let's get, well, we're going to get back into some healthy food.
Yeah.
I had a hard-boiled egg and my banana for breakfast. So I'm
Yeah.
right back on
Right back into it. You don't have to beat yourself up over it.
it.
And you know what? We can look forward to those times. Maybe they're planned days when we're a little bit more indulgent. Maybe, not every single weekend or every single day do you do this or every Friday, but every once in a while,
Yeah.
maybe you
It
plan it
wasn't
out.
planned. It wasn't planned. It was just like we didn't have a lot of different stuff in the house, and I'm hungry, and it's getting late, and I got stuff to do, and what? Oh, I guess I will just throw a pizza. I guess that's
Yeah.
how we started.
And that's okay too, to just
Yeah,
decide, you know what? Today's going to be the day
yeah. It
where
was
we,
great. I enjoyed it. I mean, I didn't. It's delicious when you're eating it, but I don't feel great after I eat stuff like that.
yeah,
Like my
me
body is like, what the heck is going on here? We
neither.
don't do this.
Yeah.
So, but I got over that quickly. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was good. It was good. I did it. It was fine. And now I'm right back to uh, eating well, doing my thing.
Yeah, so if you out there resonate with this, if this is you where you find yourself being bad from time to time, it's okay. You have our permission.
All right.
Go ahead and be bad sometimes.
Absolutely. And people talk about that all or nothing thinking. And
Yeah,
that happens with a lot of people, particularly with everybody. I'm not going to even single anybody out, but it happens with a lot of people. And it's that whole, it's either yes or it's a no, and there's no shade in between. So,
yeah,
like, like, if I was an all or nothing thinking yesterday, I'd be like, oh, see, I ate a pizza and a burger. My diet's blown. I'm just going to go get some ice cream and
yeah.
so since I'm
Screw
a
it.
piggy, I'm just going to go be piggy. And then I'll just do that for a month. And no, it's okay. And we always talk about that whole Monday thing. It's like, well, since I blew my diet on a Thursday, I can
Yeah.
just eat whatever I want and I'll start over on Monday.
For
No,
the next 3 days.
right. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna pile it up. No, it's just it's like, okay, that happened. I
Right.
went to bed, I woke up, I'm like, okay, well, you had a great day yesterday. You ate your 3,000 calories yesterday. So
Right.
how about
Yeah.
today we just dial that back a
Yeah.
little bit?
Dial it back. Yeah, I think that becomes that's fallacious thinking,
Yeah.
right? The all or nothing.
Mhm.
It's a cognitive distortion, like everything's got to be black or white or in
Mhm.
absolutes, or
Mhm.
let's not fall a victim to that. Let's change our thought patterns and let's not engage in that.
Mhm.
So if we need to be bad every once in a while, then be bad every once in a while.
Right. People get wound too tight. I mean, people that are so their whole personality, their lifestyle is built around such high structure that they can't tolerate a chink in the system. They can't
Yeah,
tolerate, I mean, their whole world would come apart if they had to have a tombstone pizza. And
yeah,
there's some problems with that too. Now I'm happy and I'm glad that you found a way to organize your life in the fact that you feel good and you're highly disciplined. That's great, but
yeah,
something is going to happen in life where you're going to come off your system. You're going to come off of your pattern. You're going to come off of what makes you feel comfortable, what makes you organized. And how are you going to handle that?
yeah. Let's not confuse being bad with being manipulative or lying, cheating, stealing. That's not the bad we're talking about. We're
Right.
talking about those things that kind of go against, the doing the healthy and making good choices for ourselves.
Hmm.
Because when it involves other people, that's where you get into the danger zone. So when we're talking about being a little bit bad or a little bit indulgent, it's about the self, and it's about maybe not sticking to our rigid plans or our goals. Even though, that may throw a little bit of a roadblock into what we're trying to accomplish, but it's okay as long as it's in moderation. You don't have to eat, if you want to have the Tombstone pizza and the Wendy's double that one day. You don't have to do, three Tombstone pizzas and a whole carton of goldfish and a dozen donuts and three doubles,
Right.
that's where people get into where they make themselves sick and then they can't function the next day.
Right. And see, I try to hold myself to a high integrity standard. I don't gossip about people. I don't. Tom, you and I see the underbelly of society in the
Mm.
work that we do
Yeah.
sometimes. We see the really ugly side of people. And, I want to rise above that. I want to help people where they're at and move forward, but I don't engage in all that other garbage. I don't do social media. I don't, people are entitled to their opinions. I don't hold grudges against people for their opinions most of the time. No, anyway, and I don't like the ugly side of people. It's just something that doesn't even in movies. I don't like the whole when all these bad things happen to people. Like everyone loves Ozark, right? Ozark,
Yeah.
you've seen the show, and I
Oh yeah.
like it too. But when bad things keep happening to people over and over again, I don't find that enjoyable. It's
Mhm.
just me. Anyway, but I told you I'm watching The Snake, where people are stabbing each other in the back and they're lying and they're cheating and they're being all kind of manipulative. And so that's my indulgent, right? I know it's
Yeah.
people I don't know. I'm removed from the whole situation. I'm just a observer and I can enjoy it a little bit. I don't like so anyway. That's my bad part of
Right.
that.
Well, and there's this psychological phenomenon where, as humans, we this is going to sound bad, but it's real. It's not that we want to see bad come to other people, but we become fascinated with, not good things happening with other people, like the car wreck where, you strain your neck, you almost get into an accident because you want to observe what's going on. I mean, I know you probably feel bad for that person and, you have some sympathy and, oh my God, that's such a terrible, terrible thing. But there's still this fascination, in our minds that we want to like observe, not great things happening to other people because maybe it's at least it's not happening to us,
Right,
or maybe our anxieties start to come out, and if we feel like something bad's going to happen to us and we see something bad happen to somebody else, it reaffirms the need for us to worry about shit. You know,
right.
this
Yeah.
Schadenfreude, this desire to observe bad things happening to other people. It's kind of
Mhm.
sick, but I mean, it's part of our human experience, part of
Yeah.
our makeup.
And we're not perfect. We're flawed individuals and we're going to be, and that's okay. But our goals in life are to rise above, to try to be the best people we can, help be of assistance to other people, be a good person with to our family and friends and to our communities, and try to do the best we can. And are we perfect all the time? Absolutely no, but we strive for
Be good like 80% of the time.
it. Right.
Yeah.
Hey, 80% to be, if you, and then there's people that strive for 100%. And when they don't reach 100% all the time, they feel less than, right? I'm not good enough. And if I only work harder, and if I only did this, and if I only, that
Mm,
striving for perfection is a chase that you're never going to win. And it's exhausting. And
mhm.
you're missing the important things along the way, chasing 100%. I
Right.
always say shoot for 100%. If you hit 80 or 90, man, that's an A, B, and that's a pass.
Yeah, because it's not maintainable, first of
No,
all.
no, absolutely not.
And
Hey,
those
you know what they
people,
call the guy in med school that got the lowest grades?
doctor.
Doctor.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't strive for mediocrity either, but, I mean, chasing perfection, what is what's the sentence, the phrase I love the most is progress, not perfection.
Yeah. Yeah. Just, try to be a little bit better than you were yesterday. And if
Yeah,
today's the day that, you're stagnant and nothing happens, then that's okay.
right.
That's all right. Work on change tomorrow.
Mhm. Absolutely.
You just try to be a little bit better than you were the previous day or the day before, or your previous version of yourself.
Mhm. And
Progress.
that's the only thing that you should compare yourself to is yourself. Don't compare yourself to your friends, family, neighbor across the street, the guy on TV, certainly the V Shred guy. Don't that guy.
Right.
Don't compare yourself to anybody except yourself. I want to be a better version of myself tomorrow than I was today. And how
Yeah.
do I do that? What practical steps can I make to be a better version of myself?
Yeah.
And that's that all, we've talked on here several times about goal setting. The goal setting is so important. Our brains are so interesting in the fact that they need to be challenged, they need to be trained, they need to be utilized, because if you just let them run free, they're gonna do stuff that you don't want it to do, right?
Yeah.
So train your brain. And there's lots of ways to do that. We talk about all kinds of things, but goal setting is, I have goals that I set for myself on an annual basis. I don't usually do it at New Year's and like that, but sometime in the year, usually around my birthday, is I'll set some goals for myself and I put them down on paper. I have them on paper, but I also have them on my phone, and I look at them every single day, right?
Mhm.
And this is I'm trying to do this year. Um, I, last year it was working on my foreign language skills, and I just celebrated my year anniversary with Spanish and Italian on Duolingo.
Nice. Va bene.
Muy bueno.
Mhm. That's wonderful. And you know what? In my journal, because I do it in the morning and in the evening, I make sure to add the wins that I had, however small or large. Anytime I have a win, I want to try to figure out, and I find a win in every day, even if it's
Mhm,
small. Hey, you know what? If my goal was to do 50 swings and to do at least, 10 minutes of yoga every day for this entire year, then did I do that? Yeah, you know what? That's a win. So the
mhm.
day that you had the Wendy's double and the tombstone, I'm sure you had made some good decisions that day. So it's not like the entire day was bad.
And you know what? I'd even consider that a win. I ate a half a tombstone and a Wendy's double, and I don't feel bad about myself. I
Yeah.
enjoyed myself. I ate some food I don't usually enjoy. It was decadent. It was delicious. I loved it,
Right.
and that's okay. And
And I didn't
I
beat
don't,
myself up.
and I'm not beating myself up.
Yeah.
I had a win. I had a momentous cheat day.
Yeah.
I got to add up the calories and the sugar and the salt. No, I'm not doing
Mhm. Isn't that fascinating how like people find it really hard, awkward sometimes to celebrate themselves and celebrate their wins? They focus
it.
on all the negative. They focus on all the ways in which they did not meet expectations. They didn't
Mhm.
rise to the occasion. They didn't accomplish their goal. They weren't productive during the day. And they focus on all that shit. And if you focus on that shit, then yeah, you didn't do all those things. But what about the things you did do?
Right. And that's, back to training your brain, that neurolinguistics work, that, it's how you approach the world, how you see the world, how
Yeah.
you visualize it and how you verbalize it, right?
Mhm.
So, I know you do journaling, but I talk out loud to myself when there's nobody else around, and I'll do the the different things because our brains need to see, need to hear, need to feel. They need to be utilized all the senses. So
Yeah.
I say these things to myself because I can hear them, and when my brain can hear them, it sinks in better for me, and that's just the way that I work. I'm a visual learner, I'm an audio learner.
Yeah.
Um, but what I do is I don't focus on what I didn't do. I focus on what I did do. And I've told you, I changed my perspective 5, 7, 8, 9 years ago. In the fact that when I get up every morning, most people will go, "Oh, I got to go to this project. I got this meeting today. I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to take the dog to the vet and blah, 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 blah. This is what I got to do." I switched that around. I'm like, man, it's going to be a great day, right? I
Mhm.
got some good sleep. I bought a new pillow. It's just so comfortable. Tom, I got to send you this link to these pillows. They're so wonderful. Anyway,
What
so
type?
what's that?
What type?
It's a just a pillow. All right. It came off the TikTok, so no judgment. But anyway,
Yeah.
I found them on Amazon, and they were not expensive. I mean, two king pillows were like 35, $40. I mean, not
Oh yeah.
expensive at all.
Mm.
And they are so nice. Anyway, so I focus on the positive. This is what's going right in my life. This is what's great. And this is what I get to look forward to, right? I got a great job. I get to go to my great job today.
Mhm.
I'm hanging out with friends later. I'm doing this. I got, the pool. I got the pool clean and it's, hot as heck out. So I'm gonna be jumping in the pool later. So I always focus on the positive things in my life. And even if they don't seem like a positive out of the gate, like work, but I got a great job. I get to go to my job today,
Mhm.
earn some cash. I have a job. So many people are getting laid off, and it's going to continue to get worse. But anyway,
Yeah. But for right now, focus on the good, the things that
right?
are happening, the things you are doing.
Yeah.
So many people, whether it was when you were growing up or whether it's in your current environment, face criticism, judgment, critiques, expectations that aren't met and pointed out to you. And so they become conditioned to focus on the negative,
Mhm.
and that becomes their default setting. And so we're trying to encourage you to change that default setting into being able to focus and reframe things that are good, things that you are succeeding in, things that are wins for you today. There is at least an equal amount of those to the
Mhm.
negative. You just have
Absolutely.
to find them.
Yeah. And what is that confirmation bias? Your brain is going to look for what it's searching for.
Yeah.
And usually that's a negative. See, I told you, blah, 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 blah. See, and people do that with a lot with the political climate, right? See, I told you if that so and so was elected, this was going to happen, right?
Mhm.
It's that
Yeah.
whole confirmation bias. So your brain is searching for
Hmm.
what you're trying to prove. So that's great. What are you trying to prove? You're trying to prove you're
Yeah.
a great individual, right? That you're a work in progress, but you're put together kind of person, and you're going to continue to work on yourself. But look at all the positive things that you've done. You got
Right.
up to this morning. You did some exercise. You ate some healthy food. You're a great caretaker to your pets. Your pets love you, right? I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
If
I
you're
did
on
that.
trial
I
and
did that
you're
in the first
playing,
45 minutes. So woo.
yeah, right. If you're on trial and it's trying to determine whether or not you're a good person, are you playing the prosecutor or are you playing the defense attorney?
Ooh, love that.
Right. And what evidence are you finding? If you're finding evidence supporting the fact that you suck, then yeah,
Hmm.
that's what's going to be the verdict.
Hmm.
Right?
I love that.
Guilty. You
Prosecutor or
suck.
defender. Prosecutor or defender. I love that. Hey, so your prompt is when you're finding the negative, switch tables. It's time to switch tables. You're not at the
Right?
prosecuting table, you're at the defending table.
Find evidence supporting the fact that you are a
Right.
good person.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a great technique.
Yeah.
How would you prove to a jury, like that you are indeed a good person if you had to play that role as the defense?
And we've talked about that internal dialogue and that internal script, and I've said this before, but we have our 30-second elevator speech, right? If you meet somebody new, you 30 seconds of introduction. My name is Brett. I'm a therapist. I got two adult kids. I live in Florida. Got some dogs. Love to be in the pool and do landscaping, right? 30 seconds. That's who I am. So you have that internal dialogue too. And usually, a lot of times, unfortunately, it's negative. But you are the author of that. You're the only one that can edit that. So
Yeah.
rewrite that script. So what do I internally tell myself? Oh, you're old, you're bald, you're fat, you're ugly, you
Yeah.
don't help anybody, but I don't, that's not what I believe. I don't say this, I'm using it as an example. But if that is what your internal dialogue is, write a new one and write it down on a piece of paper and stick it to the wall, stick it to the mirror, put it in your phone and read it over and over again.
Mhm.
I'm 55 bald, but I'm in relatively decent shape for my age, and I'm exercising and eating good foods. I'm a great dog dad. My kids are doing well.
Yeah.
I'm a great partner. I'm enjoying life. I got a great job. I mean, that's who I
Yes.
am.
You celebrate those wins, reframe, and
Absolutely.
focus on the good, man. And once again, it's okay from time to time to be a little bit bad.
Mhm.
Makes life more interesting.
All right.
Because, I know when we're making the right choices, the healthy choices, sometimes they're not always as fun or exciting, even though we see the reward from that later on in a couple of weeks, couple of months. But we don't always get to really, we're not enjoying, sucking down four hard-boiled eggs. I'm not enjoying that as much as I would
Right.
the bacon, cheddar, sausage, egg, croissant.
Mhm.
That's way more delicious, but not as
Oh, yay, chicken and hummus again. My
right.
favorite.
Yeah, yeah, I know. But so anyway, be a little bit bad, but for the most part, be as good as you can. Make the best healthy choices for you as often as you can, maybe 80% of the time. Don't beat
Mhm.
yourself up when you fall off or when you're a little bit bad. And please focus on the good. Find the evidence supporting the fact that you are amazing, that you are a really good person.
Be the defense attorney for yourself, not the prosecutor.
Yeah.
Love
That evidence is there. You just have to find it.
that. Mhm.
Condition
Hey,
yourself
the
to find
Lincoln lawyer would find it. If the Lincoln lawyer can find it, then you can find it
it.
too.
Absolutely. Yeah. Brett, a treat as always.
Time, always fun.
I think that's all I wanted to say about being bad. So send in your questions. How are you experiencing life? What's on your mind? What do you want us to talk about? What do you want us to answer?
Mhm.
Send them in to questions at therapyunzipped.com. We'll get into it. We'll tackle
That's all I have to say about that.
it.
I saw a quote at my favorite establishment that I go into on Wednesday night, and on the board, they write something on the board every week. On the board, it said, "Life is not like a box of chocolates. It's like a frozen bag of mixed vegetables with freezer burn."
Yeah.
I thought that was funny.
Sometimes it do be like that.
Sometimes it do be like that.
Yeah. Mhm.
Tom, great to see you.
Same, brother. Have an amazing rest of today. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you
Okay.
guys next week.
All righty.